Welcome to today's webinar presented by Supercoder.com. Supercoder.com is an online coding solution offering Part A and B coding reference tools, resources, and not more than 30 specialty coding and compliance newsletters from the Coding Institute in one site. I hope you enjoy this short session.
A lot of bandages. These are significant, huge injuries. Burn people are very, very, very sick frequently. Even with smaller numbers of injury or smaller percentage of injuries, they can be very ill. The next slide talks about the medical record. And the reason I put that in there is in burns, we have to remember that we as coders have to get our providers to be very specific. You've heard that one a million times, I realize, but very specific on not only the depth of the injury, meaning full thickness, partial thickness, beyond full thickness, is it necrotic, blah, 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 but also the anatomic area and then the total body percentage area that's affecting each and every area. And we need to know that every time we go back to the operating room for a new excision or a re-excision or allografting or split thickness or full thickness or whatever it is we're doing. So I just want to remind everybody, and then medical necessity always pops its ugly head in everything we do today because it seems rather obvious to you as coders and you as providers, and we would just think that when we're putting in a code like a 945.39, multiple burns of full thickness type variety in the lower extremities, that you'd think that the carriers would get it. But frequently they don't. So again, we just need to be real explicit and make sure our providers play by the rules. The next few slides are really more just of an in general, a lot of numbers. These are pulled off the American Burn Association and the National Fire Protection Agency, so I'm really not needing to spend a lot of time unless there's questions at the end for that. The next slide, burn center verification. It's a very important slide nowadays for burn centers around the United States who have gone through the national verification process, got their merit badge for it, and have jumped through all the right hoops, not only clinically but administratively, have all the necessary staff on board, provide 24-hour, 7-day-a-week services, et cetera, et cetera. All right. Moving on to the next slide, basically just talks about a nice anatomy picture just to humble us all, in that when we look at our epidermis, when you look down and look at the top of your hand and your forearm, you're looking at your epidermis. So you can conceivably understand how standing at your stove, frying some bacon, you can get a splatter injury to your forearm or to your hand that not only may be through the epidermis, but may actually even be all the way down into some level of the dermis. And you have to think of the dermis, our dermis, which of course we can't see, as a microscopic layer upon layer upon layer, each one on top of each other. And that's what we see in the burn operating room when we do something called tangentially excised and or maybe debride a burn wound injury, trying to get down to the non-burned tissue, wherever that is and whatever that is underneath. So again, then the hypodermis is kind of an old word for all the subcutaneous tissue all the way down to the fascia, down the muscle, and of course down into the bone area. Well, a classification according to the AHA Coding Clinic way back a long time ago talked about the varying degrees of burns are billed under the 948.XX. The problem with that is a lot of people love to use that code. The problem is it doesn't say anything. So if you're using 948.XX, you need to precede that code with more specific ICD-9 coding, like 942.26, 943.34, 944.2, 942.1, whatever it is, and then 948.XX if it applies. So don't use 948XX to try to get reimbursed because it's really a non-explanatory code. The next code is a very important slide for, I think, everyone to kind of look at, make sure they understand. And
Supercoder is the fastest growing online reference tool with more than 25,000 subscribers. Call 866-228-9252 to get a free product demo or sign up at supercoder.com for a 7-day free trial.